Another one of my live stream lectures. And before I get started, I just want to take a moment to thank all my supporters and everyone for supporting my channel. So with that being said, let's get on down to today's lecture, which is, are you meeting your financial goals for 2025? You know, we're in the month of April 2025, and are you meeting your financial goals? And I'm going to talk about some tips and strategies I've been using for the past several years. You know, I fully retired September 2023. However, prior to my retirement, 10 years before I retired, I sat down and developed a strategic plan, a strategic financial plan. Number one, to get debt free, to rise above my financial situation, and to master my money, to control, and the rest is history. And I still use some of those same skills that I had to use in order to exit up out of this workforce, people. And that's real talk. And by the grace and glory of God, you know, my pension income that I get for the rest of my life, from the moment I retired, I have been in a position to reinvest 100% of my retirement income since September 2023. I don't even touch the money. I don't know too many people in everyday life get a retirement check every month. They don't even need the money. Real talk. So some of the things that I've done to make sure that I'm always meeting my financial goal, that's been helping me, is I'm always looking at my dollars and cents on a monthly basis. I'm looking at what's going in, I'm looking at what's going out, and you gotta know what's coming in. You gotta know what's going out. You gotta know your expenses. You got to know your bills down to the penny, people. And then once you know that, then you know how much money you need in order to, number one, pay your bills. Number two, to have disposable income. Another key piece that helps me attain my financial goal every month is to keep your bills. I keep my bills at an all-time low. Prior to me retiring, I've been debt-free for years, people, literally. Meaning I have no mortgage, I have no car note, I have no credit cards, I have no student loans, I have no personal loans. I owe nobody nothing. So that gives me more disposable income to continue to invest my money, to increase my financial portfolio. Is critical in order to meet any financial goal. I don't care if it's on a monthly basis or yearly basis. You're gonna have to cut down your debt, because I tell anybody, it ain't about how much money you make. It's about who do you owe. There you go. Who do you owe? Because I can remember from 2007 to 2012, when I was living in financial destruction, I owed everybody. I was behind in bills on everybody, everything. My bills far exceeded my income, and I was working 2 jobs. And got tired of living from paycheck to paycheck. So the key to meeting any kind of financial goal is you're gonna have to eliminate debt, reduce debt, and then as you eliminate debt and reduce debt, the same money that you was spending on that bill, that credit card or the car note or the mortgage or the personal loan and all that, you take that same money and then you begin to increase your financial portfolio, increase your emergency savings account. Basic Business 101, people. And I use that same strategy now, because I've been debt free for years. I was determined to get debt free years before I retired, and I met that goal. I retired September 2023, but I was debt free about 4 or 5 years before I retired. So that means for the 4 or 5 years prior to me retiring, I was from state government. All of my income on a monthly basis, I wasn't even touching my money. Because I had no debt. I have other streams of income, so the little bills I did have, in terms of food, utility, cell phone bill, and insurance for my car, because I don't care who you are, you're gonna have that. And even with my car insurance, I just pay that twice a year. So cell phone bill, food, lights, yeah, you got that. But I'm talking about real bills. I'm talking about mortgage. I'm talking about car note. I'm talking about credit card, school loan, personal loans. Those are bills, people. So the past 4 or 5 years before I retired, I was getting paid and I was reinvesting my entire paycheck from my job prior to me retiring. So when I retired and got a pension, I said, well, I ain't been touching my income anyway. Might as well go ahead and continue to invest my income into another retirement income, and the rest is history. But the key thing in reaching any financial goal, you have got to eliminate your debt. You have got to reduce your debt in order to begin to meet those goals. Because I can clearly remember from 2007 to 2012, I was drowning in a sea of debt, paycheck to paycheck, bills behind hit me left and right, people. Had 2 jobs. My bills, my debt was so high I couldn't even think straight. But when I had this spiritual battle with God in 2012, and God gave me the skills to master my money, to control my money, and to exit up out of this workforce, and the rest is history. And to be able to maintain it. There you go. To be able to maintain it. You know, and he gave me the skills to write my book, Await Financial Freedom. I use my same book as a resource to sustain my financial health, to meet my financial goals on a monthly basis, month after month after month, to increase my emergency savings account, to continue to invest my money. And when I do my rural traveling, I'm doing that debt-free, people. This is real talk. And I'm telling you, it is not the money you make, it is who you owe. Because there are so many people getting up and going to work every day, working 2 and 3 jobs and still drowning in a sea of debt, because the basic recipe to rise above that, you got to come up with a game plan, a strategic plan to begin paying down your debt, eliminating debt, and then don't go out and create new debt. Because if you go out and create new debt, then you're never going to meet your financial goal. We're in the month of April, and you got many people, when January came, they say, oh, I got this New Year's resolution, January 2025, I'm going to increase my savings, I'm going to get out of debt, I'm going to save $1,000 a month. And so by the time 10 months hit, I got an extra $10,000 sitting in my savings account. Here we are in the month of April, and many people have not met that goal. They ain't even got an extra $1,000 in that emergency savings account. If you don't write it down, people, if you don't be laser focused, I'm telling you, you look up, we in the month of April of 2025. You look up, we'll be in January of 2026. This is real talk. You got to write it down. You got to be laser focused. You got to know what money coming in, what's going out, in order to meet your weekly financial goal, your monthly financial goal. Real talk. And I have these discussions with people in the real world all the time. I'm telling you, I use my same skills to continue to build my financial portfolio, to continue to not have to touch any of my retirement checks. And I got a couple of them. I don't touch none of them. I use my other streams of income to pay the little bills I have. Because in a hot minute, all the bills I'm going to have in the world is about to be $200 a month, people. Real talk. This is real talk. Right now, all the bills I have in the world is less than $800 a month. That's high to me. I'm finna get it lower than that. I'm finna get every bill I have in the world $200 a month. And so then that's going to free me up to have even more disposable income to continue on the trajectory path to build my financial portfolio, continue to build my emergency savings account. But you gotta be laser focused. I was laser focused. 10 years before I retired, I sat my behind down and I got me a piece of paper, I got me a pencil, and I wrote down all the debt I have. And it was a whole bunch way back then. And I got tired of living from paycheck to paycheck. And I said, my goal prior to me retiring, I'm not going to owe nobody nothing. And I met that goal 4 or 5 years before I retired. I retired September of 2023. But 4 or 5 years prior to that, I had no bills, people. And I still don't have any. Not no real debt. So that's when I really realized, wow. As I was getting rid of debt, eliminating debt, I started using that same money to pump up money into my retirement account. I start using that same money to increase my emergency savings account. As I paid my mortgage off 20 years early. So that same money that I would have been spending on my mortgage, all I did was pump it up into my financial portfolio, my emergency savings account. I didn't miss the money because I was paying it out anyway. So, and I noticed, I say, okay, that's the secret right there. The more I eliminate debt, the more I pay off debt. I'm using that same money. Now I'm strategizing. And I did that, look up, retired, debt-free, debt-free years before I retired. I literally remember I put myself on a strategic plan. I paid off a 30-year mortgage, people, 20 years early. 20 years early. I was sending, depending on how my mortgage was, I was able to send additional money on the principal. I was sending money on that doggone mortgage bill 4 or 5 times a month. I went to my mailbox one day. The deed to my home was in the mail 20 years early. And I continue now, since I took that bill out the way, I took that same money. Then I start increasing my financial portfolio, increasing my retirement account, increasing my emergency savings account. Got my daughter through college way back then. She was in college. I self-funded her college. So when she graduated college, her bill was zero. She didn't have no school loans. And even though she's in the military now, going on 10 years, doing well, but I was laser focused. So I use those same skills now to continue to build my wealth, people. This is real talk. So I tell folks, if you want to meet your financial goals on a monthly basis, a yearly basis, you have got to start reducing your debt. And when you reduce your debt or eliminate your debt, you got to have a purpose for that money, that disposable income. You got to be laser focused. Don't go out and create new debt. You defeating the purpose. If you pay that car off, or those credit card bills off, or your school loan off, or your mortgage off, or personal loans off, when you pay it off, don't go out and create new debt. Don't charge again on your credit card. That's what a lot of folks do. Don't get a bigger car, or more expensive car, or more expensive house. You're working in reverse. That's all you're doing. You ain't never meet your financial goal. You're working in reverse. To me, it's basic business 101. You got to elevate from that. You got to shift your mindset, people. That's the only way this thing is going to work. You got to shift your mindset. And now, since I got all this disposable income, you better believe I got a financial advisor in my corner. You better believe I got a certified public accountant in my corner to guide me to continue to meet my financial goal on a monthly basis, on a yearly basis, as long as God would give me breath, people. Real talk. So share this information. Have you met your financial goal for 2025? And the tips and strategies I'm talking about are the same tips and strategies that God gave me when I went through that spiritual battle in 2012. What I'm spitting out right now are the same tips and strategies that elevated me to the point that I have been able to exit up out of this workforce, people. And I don't have to never work again for nobody as long as God give me breath. Real talk. That's all I have. Simplify, Simple Fidelis. And I'm going to leave you in the care of your own conscience. Have a great day.